welcome you back. Another Thursday in the month of February. Some things stay the same, some things change. The weather remains cold, it remains snowy, but no one's the wiser in Erie. We move along. Welcome in, everybody, to the United Podcast here, sponsored by the John Russell Hospitality Group. It's an exciting show tonight as we roll along through the winter sports season. And as we saw last week, we have more teams that are starting their seasons right now. Competitive cheer and dance, as we had on last week, began their season. And boy, did they start off with a bang, claiming first in multiple categories at Penn State Barron to start the year. And now tonight, we get to add two more teams into the fray, one of which we'll hear from tonight live, the other of which we'll hear from the season. The rubber really meets the road. Winter sports teams collision course to the playoffs, and for a lot of other teams as well, a great opportunity to really showcase what they can do at the beginning of the season. So as we start our podcast tonight, we welcome you into the month of February. We hope you're excited for this evening's episode because we have a lot going on. Specifically this, let's show you what we have on the United Podcast for tonight. We'll start with acrobatics and tumbling. We have a couple of veteran team members as well as head coach Addie Wommeldorf, who will join us on the show in just a minute or so from now. Their season kicks off on Monday when they head to Quinnipiac in what sprint to the finish line. Lots of things to be excited for A&T this season. We'll also preview our Make-A-Wish game coming up on Saturday. Make-A-Wish, such an important part of what we do with Gannon Athletics and Gannon University. Our Assistant Athletic Director of External Relations, Carrie McKay, going to join for on Saturday. Hint, there's going to be a lot of Friends excitement in the air heading into Saturday afternoon. Also, we'll preview women's water polo. Their season gets underway on Saturday when Zarko Sadakovic takes his team to Villanova for 4 really strong tests to begin the 2026 campaign. So lots of new, lots of continuing in our show tonight. Let's, though, not waste any time. We always start with our dish of the day each and every single week, and we're going to do the same again tonight. I think it's always hard for the John Russell Brewing Company to outdo themselves. Weeks they've had with our dish of the day so far to start the second semester. Well, tonight it's another classic, but boy, is it a darn good classic. Let's take a look at our dish of the day. Our dish of the day is another Irish classic, but it's one of the better Irish classics, in my opinion, shepherd's pie. It's such an underrated dish for a multitude of reasons. It's a great hearty meal. Beef, mashed potatoes, cheese, some scallions and onions on the top. You can't go wrong with the shepherd's pie, and you can get it as part of the Irish menu at John Russell Hospitality Group and the John Russell Brewing Company every single day, including on podcast days. Make sure, of course, to stop by our here through at the John Russell Brewing Company, and the shepherd's pie dish of the day. You can get that dish every single day here at the John Russell Brewing Company. All right, let's kick off our show with acrobatics and tumbling, shall we? Earlier last week, pulled number 9 in the preseason national ranking. There's a lot to be excited for about this team after what's been an incredibly strong start to the program, and not to mention there's also been a lot of excitement nationally regarding acrobatics and tumbling. We're going to get into that in just a few moments. Speaking of the entire season scope, here is acrobatics and tumbling schedule. As we mentioned, Monday begins their jaunts, and if you'll see, you could really equivocate the children's song Days of the Week to A&T, because they literally have at least one game every single day of this week. So you're spoiled for choice in terms of when you can see this team in action. 5 home opportunities, including Glenville State, Mary Hardin Baylor, a tri-meet against Buffalo State, and Trine and Duquesne, their home opener. So just so much to be looking forward to for acrobatics and tumbling, and a team that has a lot, like we said, to look forward to as we get ready to begin this season. Happy to be joined by a couple of Peytons. We'll start with junior Peyton Neal on the show this evening, who joins us on the podcast. Peyton, it's exciting to have your season start. I can only imagine, but take me through what this part of the year is, like anticipation, few days before your first meet. What is it like getting ready for a season? Because you've now done it a few times so far this in your career.
Yeah, for sure. So lots of nerves. I think we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty and just making the final touches and really honing in on the little things that are going to set us apart and other team.
So much to talk about. Not sure where to start, but let's look at the team right now this season. You have a lot of vets that come back. You and Peyton are two of of them. The others, just to name a few, Lena Bergeron, who comes back. Lily Fritz is going to be big as a base for this team. There are so many familiar faces, and yet you bring newcomers that could help the team instantly. And Coach Wommeldorf, I'm sure we'll talk about that when she gets on the show here. What's the makeup of the team? What do you like about the team this year? And how have you bonded so far in the preseason?
Yeah, I think everybody is so extremely talented. We have so much talent. I think it's just about building confidence. We have a really talented freshman class. Tori Spearman is an amazing Addie, she's amazing base. Yeah. They're going to be really big assets in the years to come. But, of course, we have our veterans who are extremely talented too. And I think everybody has a little piece of themselves that all just come together and kind of just finish the puzzle, because it just completes the team. And, where we need each and every person in a different way. And I think the team chemistry is just unmatchable, and it's awesome. Everybody's really close. I feel like one big family. We have a lot of fun, but we also get stuff done. It's
amazing when you go into the season, sometimes with teams that are storylines that don't necessarily showcase themselves until the middle of the year, right? Sometimes you have to figure out the team. This season for acrobatics and tumbling, there are 3 storylines, right? One's the makeup of the team. Here's the second. I want to ask you about Coach Addie. She gets a chance to take over head coach this year. I have not met an individual on the team, and I know an individual who has and let's go. Yeah. I've asked them about Coach Addie and her being able to take over the team. What has she been meant to you so far early in the season, and how excited are you to work with today? Yeah, she's so awesome. I cannot put into words how thankful I am that Coach Addie got to take over. She has given me a whole new love for the sport and a whole new confidence to just believe in myself and believe in my teammates. And she really is just awesome. I can't say enough good things about her. And I think she is that final factor that we really needed to put us on top. And it seems like it's obvious, but she's also relatable to this team, right? Because she was part of the team. She then becomes an assistant coach and now the head coach. Is it, in your mind, easy to be able to have that communication where it just seems like she understands if there's something that goes wrong, she's been there. She's been in the moment. She's been on the mat. She's done what you're doing now. Is it easier to be able to have that communication knowing you have someone who has literally been in your shoes not that long ago? Yes, for sure. I think I walk up to her after every practice, every rep, and I'm like, Coach Addie, what can I do better to fix this, or stick this skill better, or whatever? She always knows what to do to fix it. So she's definitely relatable. And then, if we're having a hard day, if things aren't going the way we want them to, she's really good about taking a different approach of how can we fix this instead of punishments and things like that. So being an athlete recently and being in the Gannon acrobatics and tumbling program really helps. What are you most looking forward to on Monday night? I'm just really excited to get out there and compete, get the first meet jitters out, and just do it with some of my best friends. No doubt. It's good. Season. It's their first away meet of the year, at Quinnipiac, and then Duquesne at home on February 20th is the start. Peyton, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you taking some time. Let's bring the other Peyton on while we have a moment. That's junior Peyton Neal joining us. Peyton Oliver, the senior, set to join us in just a moment's time. There's again a look at the schedule. Gannon gets 2 straight home games following their first game against Quinnipiac on Monday. That's a 5 o'clock start on the road, and then Duquesne February 20th at 7 o'clock. Buffalo State and Trine is the tri-meet on February 28th. That's at noon when those two begin. Yeah, you go ahead and put that mic down, Peyton. And let's talk with Peyton Oliver, senior, who is one of many veterans on this team coming into the season. So, Peyton, take me back. Started as a freshman time ago, but it really wasn't. Time flies when you're in college, and then it gets even faster as you go. For all of the newcomers who come in to they're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, but they're not sure what the process is, what it looks like. What can you remember back to your first year or so on campus that you can tell them and encourage them, give them advice as to how to be successful early on in their careers? Yeah, I think just knowing that making mistakes is okay, and everybody's nervous. Everybody is going to have their first time, and it's going to be a little difficult, and especially because acrobatics and tumbling isn't necessarily a sport for the youth yet, for across
in the sense of the country. So just knowing that it's going to be different coming from those different backgrounds, different states, be different. And it's okay. You're not alone in that nervousness, and just make new friends. Be excited and encouraged to do anything and everything.
I'm so glad you brought up the word encouragement, because I just talked with Peyton about the first two big topics of the season, right? Coach Addy coming in, the makeup of the team. And the third is the national landscape of which this sport is now hopefully going to grow next year, because as of next year, it is an NCAA championship sport. And I know that that's something that you and so many others that are in this sport have been working so hard to do. What did it mean to you when you learned that A&T will be competing for a national championship starting next season?
I think it didn't even feel real. I was like, wow, I'm actually a part of history. Like, I don't think that people really would have thought of that as being something that they could do and be a part of. And I think that was just a really cool moment to realize.
What does it say about the strides this sport has taken? You mentioned just a second ago that there's still some work to be done to make sure that the youth, grade school, middle school, even high school, but what does it say it's that the sport has taken, that the NCAA has recognized it in the way that it has?
I think just over the course, not even that years of being a collegiate sport, not necessarily approved yet, but being a collegiate sport, just making all those strides and like becoming this big thing, and a lot of acrobatics and tumbling athletes putting their name out there, being influencers on TikTok and Instagram and all that, and just getting the word out there about the sport and really having fun with it.
It has been so cool to be a sport to get to watch. And it's also extremely competitive, which I think is going to bode well for national championships and for your schedule this season. You're ninth in the country in the preseason coming into the year. I know there's every year a lot of expectation for the team. What's your hope? What are the conversations you're having as a veteran core, the veteran leaders on this team, in terms of what you expect this season?
I think just helping out this almost new generation of our team is all about, and having fun, making sure that everybody just learns and grows all together, and having fun, most importantly.
What's the key to growing in this sport from the time that you begin on campus, as you did a few years back, to now when you're a veteran? What's the key to growth there?
Definitely trusting each other, trusting the process, trusting that our coaches know what they're doing, trusting that the returners know what they're doing and know how to bring everybody through the journey of a new year and new people every year, and just trusting everybody.
This might be a tough question, because I'm sure there are a lot of words to describe the team or maybe the goal of this season. But if you had to describe your team in one, maybe two words, what would be those words that you would use this season?
I would say determined for sure. And I think determined would be a good word. I think we're just determined to have fun and be together as a team, having fun together.
Let's take a look at your schedule. It's always a brutal schedule. Quinnipiac on your schedule every year. You're typically traveling to Oregon or Baylor or both in certain situations. And, it's not that far removed that you were part of the national runner-up team that really began, I don't want to say the ascension, climb to an even higher what acrobatics and tumbling was again, and it was already successful, and now you're going to a different level. Take me back to that experience and what that was like, and what you think the keys will be to try to get back to that point again this year, and at least have an opportunity to compete at NCATAs.
I think it was a lot of trust in the returners, and kind of just learning from them what the team atmosphere was supposed to be and how we needed to get as far as we wanted to get. And I know I keep saying this, but a lot of trust in knowing that they know what they're doing, knowing that everything has to be kind of a certain way for us to get where we need to get. And
Monday's going to be a lot of fun. I asked Peyton the same question. What are you most looking forward to when you hit the mats for official competition for the first time?
I think just getting the first meet jitters out of the way. I think P also said that, but I have a lot of nerves with it being my last year,
Yeah.
and it feels like I'm a freshman all over again with these jitters and just having fun and getting all the jitters out.
It's bittersweet for you, and I wasn't mentioned about the championship sport, but you won't get an opportunity to compete as NCAA with it being your last year. But what do you hope that, as you know, I know the season hasn't started yet, but what do you hope for the growth of this sport when you leave Gannon and hopefully get a chance to still be a part of the acrobatics and tumbling family? What do you hope for the future of this sport after this season comes to a close?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think just more growth and more getting the word out about D2 schools, because there's a lot of D2 acro schools, and I don't think a lot of people know about them until later, and all they think about is the D1 schools that are super big, which is great. They're getting the word out there about acrobatics and tumbling, but I think it's really the small D2 that really get girls to come out and have fun with their team and grow the sport even more.
The majority of schools in acro right now are Division II, to your point, and Gannon, one of the ones that is competing for championship this year. Peyton, I really appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck on Monday. It's going to be a great season.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's bring on Coach Addy as acrobatics and tumbling getting ready for the start of their season on Monday. It's really hard to believe it's already almost here, but there's again a look at their schedule as Coach Addy comes onto the show. Quinnipiac, the first game coming up on February 9th. It's a 5 o'clock start. It's Duquesne, Buffalo State, and Trine as part of a tri-meet on the 28th of February. What a whirlwind it has been in the preseason for head coach Addy Womeldorf, getting your team ready to go. Such an exciting story, and a bevy of exciting stories for Gannon Athletics. Yours is one of them, Coach. It's great to have you on. I appreciate you taking some time, because I know right now your head's probably going a million miles an hour getting ready for Monday. How exciting is it to actually be in action on Monday as opposed to just practicing it?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I think it's been super fun this week. Busy week for sure, but seeing the team do full meet run-throughs and really get a preview of how they're going to handle the pressure on Monday, getting out those jitters now so we can go in with utmost confidence on Monday to hit what we need to hit.
So in your time as a member of the team back a few years ago, both of them talked about first meet jitters. What is the key to shaking those off as quickly as you can? You're going to have them. It's inevitable. Yeah. I understand that. But how do you get over them quickly to try to compete your best that first event?
Yeah, I think something that helped me was bringing it in as a team and letting it go. Like that's something you have to do. You have to next play. It's something we've always talked about since I was an athlete. You can leave it in the past and you can only get better in the next things that you do. You have a job throughout the whole meet. Just because you make one mistake, it doesn't define everything that you have. With so many things going on, obviously in an acro meet, one mistake isn't gonna make or break you. It will if you let it mentally, but that's what we've been focusing on this week, is leaving the mistakes at the front of the meet and making up for it as we go on.
You have the great experience as a coach. Everyone has said how excited they are to be able to compete with you, alongside you. Some of them even said in the preseason interviews it feels awkward that they call you coach now instead of Addy, but I think there's a bit of a... What has it been like being able to work with your athletes, knowing that you were once in their shoes? Is there a relatability factor to that?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said before in the preseason interview, I've been on the team with a multitude of them, and just having that relationship, I think, has helped me be able to know them better as athletes, and not just as athletes, but as people. That's what I preach as a coach, is not just knowing them for their athletic ability, but as a whole person, because yes, you're here to do a job for me for 4 years, but I want to know you long past that. I want you to be a great human, leave here, able to do your job to the best of your ability when you leave here. So that's what I focus on. And I think that's really what's helped to know them better and know as well, because not every athlete is the same. I can't coach them all the same. So just focusing on what each one of them individually needs, and having that advantage, knowing them time personally
Right.
has given me that advantage.
You're ninth in the country coming in. I know it's just a preseason ranking. Preseason rankings, maybe they mean something, maybe they don't. We can debate that at a different time. But your schedule is always difficult, right? Quinnipiac, Oregon, you have a lot of other great Division II teams that are going to be on your schedule, some of which you'll host. Duquesne in your first home opener is also going to be a challenge. You're looking to get revenge from last season. What are the expectations for the team this season based on the roster that you have constructed?
I think the expectations this year are to just gain momentum as we go, build confidence at an early stage. Maybe not putting out our hardest skills at the first meet, but gaining that confidence and progressively upgrading as the season goes on, and just building to our ultimate goal, which is obviously making it top 8 to the national championship. Going off of preseason poll, we're right there, right under a bunch of the teams we're competing against. So we build that confidence, go out there, just focus on us, do what we need to do. And I think we easily make our way into that top 8.
So one of the fascinating things that I always ask coaches in individual sports, but it works for your team too, is how do you stop the team from peaking too early? Right? Because it's understood that you go out there on Monday, you want to be your absolute best, you make a mistake, maybe it snowballs, whatever. There's a sort of a climb, as you know, to be able to get to the pinnacle when you need it most. How do you pace yourself as a team this season when all you want to do, I'm sure, is just go out there and knock the socks off of everyone on Monday night?
Yeah, I think, like I said already, is we're not putting out our hardest skills right now. We have them in the tool chest, but gaining confidence, eating clean routines, which is what we're going to do. And I think that's how we prevent ourselves from peaking too early, is just building the confidence at practice on those harder skills, perfecting them before we put them out on the floor, and put them out there when we feel confident to do so, and when our head's in the right space to do so as well.
Last time you and I chatted, it was just prior to the official vote of A&T becoming an NCAA championship sport. So now I get to ask you for the first time, what does it mean to you to now have it be official that next season get to the postseason?
It means the world to me. Like I said before, just going through the whole process, my freshman year at Gannon, getting announced as an NCAA emerging sport, and then now getting that status as official NCAA sport as of next year. It's just, I'm ecstatic, and it's a great time to be a part of this sport, and a very exciting time, and to know that not only me, but all of my athletes are making history, and, not only just ending it there, but continuing the legacy for years to come, and the goal to be to, ultimately win a Division II national championship title. So
it's amazing how quickly this sport has skyrocketed up the ladder in popularity. 15 days out from your home opener, although you're at the Quinnipiac before that. What can fans be excited about when you hit the home floor for your first game on the 20th?
I think just the energy that they're bringing this year. We don't just focus on our skills, but what we bring together as a team, and it's energy. This team is very passionate. They've talked about it a lot, and I just think we're excited. It's alumni weekend too, to have those alumni back. A lot of them I was on the team with, current athletes were on the team with, and just performing for them and giving the audience a show is what we want to do.
Please make sure you check the schedule. Like we said, and we don't joke about it because it's literally there every day of the week. This team has a game. Was that planned?
No, the athletes actually pointed out to me when I went over the schedule with them.
It is kind of wild, but nice thing for you is your home opener is on a Friday, and then it's a Saturday right after that. So the two most part of the home crowd, which will be awesome. Addie, I appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck this season. Can't wait to see you starting on Monday at Quinnipiac.
Thank you.
Acrobatics and tumble their season in a few days from now when they take on Quinnipiac in the season opener February 9th at 5 p.m. And we continue on the United podcast in just a moment here on this Thursday, February 5th.
At John Russell Hospitality, every restaurant tells a story of flavor, community, and unforgettable moments. From handcrafted meals to welcoming spaces, we bring people together around a table. John Russell Hospitality, where great food meets genuine companionship. Make sure to visit one of our 6 locations today.
So before we get to Monday, we've got some weekend events to get to for What's on Tap. And the back half of this show is going to be talking about tap for this weekend with tomorrow. An important meet for women's wrestling when they take on Bethany tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It is senior night. 5 women's wrestling seniors will be honored ahead of that dual meet. Erin Vandiver and the Golden Knights, 17th in the country, coming into the meet tomorrow night, looking to get a win before they go to the regional. Women's wrestling regionals is about 2 weeks from now. It's crazy to think about, but the season is already coming, regular season that is, to a close for women's wrestling, but they are primed to make a run in regions and get a bevy of student athletes to the national competition. So make sure to show up, be loud, and be excited for women's wrestling tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Senior night festivities begin around 6:45. Speaking of seasons that start, women's water polo begins their season as well. And in just a minute, we'll hear from Coach Sadakovic and a couple of the student athletes. They have a bear of a tournament to begin the season. Heading to Villanova, PA for the Wildcat Invite, which includes 2 games to start the day against Villanova and Princeton. Iona and Wagner will be the other 2 opponents on Sunday for the Golden Knights. But a lot of promise and a lot of things to look forward to for Coach Sadakovic and Gannon. They have a lot of returners, including Molly Fair from last year, Bridget Carmody, who's going to be a big part, Kirsten Farley, who will be a part of the offense this season as well, and a couple of freshmen who could really make some waves, no pun intended, for the Golden Knights in 2026. Tumbling gets set for their first game on Monday at Quinnipiac before they return home for the first time on February the 20th when they take on, which will be their home opener. And as we'll get to in a few minutes from now, it is a special Saturday afternoon for men's and women's basketball. The games are important. Men play Cal at 3, women Cal at 1. Of course, Cal is Gannon's only PSAC loss on the men's side. That'll be a 3 o'clock tip. And it is our Make-A-Wish game, a Friends theme. It is a blue out. We're going to get into all the details of that in just a couple of minutes with Carrie McCabe. But before we get to that, let's talk about women's water polo for a couple of minutes. Coach Sadakovic hitting the road tomorrow to head to Villanova to stay stateside, but compete in that very challenging, but albeit exciting tournament to begin the year. Lots of promise, lots of excitement. Some returning faces you'll see. Other new faces might start to lead the way as this season prods along. Here's a preview of what you can expect for women's water polo as they begin their season less than 48 hours from now.
Almost we have to say that we had a great off-season start, and I think that's going to set up a great tone for this season. Looking back from last season, there's a lot of things that and setbacks and mistakes that we have to, look over and learn from. And with the strong returning group, as I said, very, very experienced upperclassmen and great freshman group, as we just talked about, we're going to look out for a great season.
Yeah, I mean, our team was very young last year, but that's great because we have a lot of foundation to build off of. So just that constant communication with those girls and the new girls coming in, it'll just be continued growth.
I think it's going to show our strength really well, and I think it'll show that we're stronger than we think we are, even though we're going up against these bigger teams. So I think it'll show us a lot about ourselves and how we can prepare for the tournaments. Being with a new team is super exciting, and to have this year, I think we just have to be ready to come in every day, ready to work and push each other to be better.
Variability. There's just so many different dynamics within the team. I think we bring a lot of new fresh faces from overseas as well as around America. I also think we bring a lot more experience than last year. So I think, I'm excited to see how the season goes and, ultimately pushing to get better and, just improve as a team.
Arguably, this is the busiest and most exciting time of the year. I would say February/March and November/December are really where the 2 are. And June for spring sports were exciting as well. Women's water polo. Keep up to date on their run to the start of the season on our website, GannonSports.com. And by the way, the game against Villanova is going to be ESPN game that is streamed and televised at that tournament, but you'll get to see the Golden Knights in their season opener bright and early take on the Wildcats at the Wildcat Invite. All right, we're all friends here. We all love Gannon Golden Knight athletics, and you get a chance to be friends with so many incredible individuals on Saturday. It is a Friends-themed Make-A-Wish Blue Out for the Golden Knights men's and women's basketball team as we host our Make-A-Wish meet. Several Make-A-Wish families going to be in attendance at the game, and we'll get a chance to highlight the one cause that truly brings everyone together on campus every single year. Gannon is among the top schools in all of the nation, Division 1, 2, and 3 for Make-A-Wish participation, Make-A-Wish effort. So this evening, nobody better to talk about it than the one who makes sure that everything is running smoothly for Make-A-Wish, and that's our Assistant Athletic Director for External Relations, Carrie, who is finishing touches of making sure that this day runs smoothly, Carrie. We're excited for Saturday. These days are always wonderful. We've had a chance to host a few of them year by year. Take me through the excitement in your head coming into Saturday.
Well, this is like the fun part. All year round, our student athletes just work really hard to continue to raise that money through different efforts, mostly bucketing at different games and things like that, to raise money, to reach our goal, to be able to continue to welcome Make-A-Wish families to our games and get the opportunity to hopefully year after year host Wish reveals on campus. And we're really excited to just showcase Make-A-Wish and the foundation and just what an incredible thing it is and how dedicated our student athletes are to making that commitment to stay involved from year to year. So I'm just really excited we have I think 3 or 4 families that will be joining us area along with some volunteers. So I'm just excited to see it all play out.
And the wonderful thing about this is that student athletes and administration, we're bonded together over a lot of thing is a non-negotiable, but it's an exciting, we are all invested in this. And we've seen members of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, they do an incredible job with this. Everyone pitches in and I think does a really good job of just playing their part on a day like Saturday. And in talking about SAC, they are head over heels for wanting to make this the best day it can possibly be.
Yeah, it's a really great way. Obviously, giving back to the foundation and being able to help in the community is awesome. What is even more special is to see our student athletes kind of come together for this common goal and really to what about and sacrifice their free time to step up and help make a difference. So it's about so many things, but that's one
would not be without competition. And this year for Make-A-Wish, there's an added layer of competition this year in what is being called Money Wars. I'm going to put this QR code on the screen, and Carrie's going to explain it in just a second, but the student athletes love the competition factor of it, and this year teams are literally competing to see who can raise the most money.
Yeah, so this was actually put together and organized by our SAC committee themselves, and obviously I'm the person that just helps them to organize and make it all come to fruition. But this is really all at the hands of them. So they're competing to raise money for Make-A-Wish. We set a goal to reach $1,000 this week, ultimately at the games this weekend. So I hope you're ready and you bring your change, whether that be actual paper money, which is what they want, and then also quarters. So to explain that a little bit, the teams that are competing Money Wars, you can support your favorite team by donating cash dollar bills. Yes, actual paper money to your favorite team. And then you can sabotage, there's that fun aspect, sabotage other teams by putting quarters in their bucket. So all in all, we're still raising money, but each quarter is minus $1 for that team. So at the end of it, they're going to be battling all week, battling all weekend at the games. And then once all is said and done, and I count all those up, there's going to be a prize in store for them, which they aren't actually aware of what the prize is.
There you go.
So they are doing this all without actually understanding what is in store for them, that just is a testament to their commitment and how incredible it to this one goal for raising money for Make-A-Wish.
We'll keep the teaser on the back burner for now. You'll have to wait, teams, until after Saturday to determine what that award is. Again, ready. Green is good. S, sabotage for the silver. Bring your dollars. If you don't have money on you, that QR code is how you can get involved. And if I remember correctly, you told me about 10 minutes after the link went live, there was already somebody donating.
Yeah, I had a donation probably about 30 seconds after sent the email, which was great. I was so excited. Yeah. And then about 5 minutes after that, I got a pretty big donation. So cool to see. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for the dedication that our Gannon community, they just know. People are walking around asking for money and there's no questions asked. I look across the gym and I see people having their hands donate. It's just a really awesome feeling to see how dedicated we are to making a difference, and it's just become a regular thing that we do. So
it has been cool to see it evolve in the last few years. I mean, Gannon's always been deeply invested in Make-A-Wish, but ever since you came into your current position, it's just taken off to new strides. We're among the top in Division 1, 2, and 3 for Make-A-Wish success and raising money. But besides the obvious fact of, look, it's helping to make sure that people who need this have the ability to get what they're looking for. Take me through why else it's important to continue to support Make-A-Wish year-round, not just on Saturday alone, not just the week leading up to it. Why?
It's hard for me because I do get emotional when this is my favorite part of my job.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of my jobs. And I remember back when I was coaching, I got the honor to be able to host a wish reveal at my home competition. You know, competitive cheer and dance only has one home competition, and we hosted a really special Make-A-Wish reveal for a special girl named Anna, who was just very near and dear to our hearts. And ever since then, it has really been ingrained in me. Obviously, there's that competitive nature. I was always pushing to be the highest fundraising team for Make-A-Wish, but now it's become so much more, and getting that connection with the volunteers, with the families, and seeing how it actually genuinely lights up their life, and getting that interaction with our student athletes and getting that experience to also share in that light. It's just, I can't even really explain what it means. But I will always I know that I will always have this drive in me to give back to this foundation, and to be able to help our student athletes do that as well. I know that's very fulfilling. So
yeah, I almost equivocated to the song One Shining Moment, right? Which is, it's great because it involves basketball. That's the song that everyone hears when March Madness ends. But the one shining moment for our teams is when they do well on the court or on the field of competition or well in the classroom. That one shining moment that it's your wish reveal we've been able to do, it truly is a shining beacon of opportunity to show, look, this is what we've been working so hard for. And I think that's just such a big part of, to your point, why we do it and why it's so important to do it every year. So Saturday is Make-A-Wish Day. We're going to have some families come back. There's a lot of excitement in the air. Carrie, what can we expect other than the games and the families on Saturday that will make you want to come out? Of course, the games will be competitive, but a lot of excitement going on for Saturday afternoon.
Well, yeah, just when there's the honored guests of Make-A-Wish in the crowd, there's just that level of excitement that is next level. You feel the buzz. There's going to be an exciting announcement during halftime of the women's game. So everybody's going to be on the edge of their seat. Obviously, some really great basketball always helps. Yeah. But seeing those kids and those families that are affected in such a positive way about this foundation, you can't help but smile and just be invested and just have a great day. And everybody needs that right now. You can't get enough of that. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a blue. Athletes are going to be full force, which there is nothing like Gannon student athletes. I will tell you that. And when they all come out together, it's just, you feel like Gannon, and that's just something you're gonna get to see on Saturday. So
again, it's an echo Carrie sentiment. If you don't go to women's basketball games, you need to be there at 1:00. Watch the game. Exciting stuff coming at halftime. It's a blue out. It's also a bit of a Friends theme as well. More on that a little bit later. So there's really something for everyone. Everyone's a fan of Friends. Everyone loves the color blue. If you don't, you probably don't have a soul. Just make sure that you're there. And Carrie, we can't wait. It's going to be a great day and just a great combination of what we work hard for every single day.
Yeah, of course. I'll see you there, and you better bring some money to donate.
No doubt. Yeah, make sure. Again, remember, quarters are sabotaged, but it all goes towards Make-A-Wish. All right, Carrie, thanks again.
Thank you.
Carrie McKay joining us. She is such a big part, the biggest part of our Make-A-Wish efforts. And as we continue along in the UKnighted podcast, we're getting ready for our top 5 plays of the week as we get ready for Saturday before that women's wrestling senior night on a busy weekend, but a great weekend on campus.
At John Russell Hospitality, every restaurant tells a story of flavor, community, and unforgettable moments. From handcrafted meals to welcoming spaces, we bring people together around a table. John Russell Hospitality, where great food meets genuine companionship. Make sure to visit one of our 6 locations today.
Back with you on the program. What's left in our show tonight is a reminder of what is on tap for this weekend as we get ready for an exciting weekend on campus. Thanks again to Carrie McKay for being with us to talk a lot about Make-A-Wish Day and what we can expect coming on Saturday. Once again, a reminder, the games start at 1 and 3 p.m. If you are interested in coming to the game, we recommend that you get there early. It's expected to be a big crowd again on Make-A-Wish Day. It is a blue out. Wear blue, please. You did a great job of your blackout game against Damon for the men a few weeks. Make sure you wear blue. Okay, also, we'll see you on Friday for women's wrestling. It is senior night. The Golden Knights take on Bethany. There will be 5 seniors recognized for Aaron Vandiver's squad ahead of that really, really big duel coming up on Friday. And after that, women's wrestling is going to start to prepare for what will be an exciting regional coming up on February the 21st at West Liberty University. Again, as well, acrobatics and tumbling starting their season coming up on Monday when they'll travel to Quinnipiac to start their 2026 campaign. They'll be home to start the year on February 20th against Duquesne. And women's water polo, as we heard from them just a few moments ago, they're beginning the season. Head coach Zarko Sadakovic with 4 games against Villanova to end the season on Saturday and Sunday at the Wildcat Invite. All right, let's gear up with our top 5 plays of the week. It is evening. We start the month of February. All wrestling this weekend. There were a couple of really good dual meets last weekend to cap off the month of January. Let's not waste any time. Our top 5 plays of the week coming at you now, starting with number 5, Holden Hoon. You may have not heard his name for men's wrestling. That's because he hasn't factored into the starting lineup at all in dual meets this season, but he came out with a bang last Saturday when he defeated his opponent 10-7 in a decision to move to 6-0 on the year. Hoon at 157 going to be a key piece this year. Can he find a way to get through regionals to national championships? We sure hope so. That's good for our number 5 play of the week with that big takedown to win 10-7 at number 4. Speaking of takedowns, Bella Phillips, she prefers the fall of her takedowns. Throw the ground and the mat. The hand hits the mat for the pin. Phillips, the big win at 180. That put Gannon into the lead at that point, using the power, the strength, and the drive. She is really hard to stop. And if you're going to stop her, you're going to need to do a lot more than that. Gannon would fall in that match, but man, what a job by Bella Phillips. Here comes number 3. This is Jake Niff. Take a look at and earns this takedown and the win at 141. Whoop, over the back he goes of his opponent. Not easy, folks. He lands at number 3 on our list. Here's number 2, Lena Rumpler, going for the double leg takedown. Nice shoot from Lena and pick her up and put her down. No problem for Lena, who just completely uses this advantage to perfection and earns the 2 points. She would get the win in her match on Saturday. At number 1, we've said this guy's name a lot, Dorian Crosby. This is the number 7th ranked wrestler in the country, by the way, and Dorian Crosby makes no mistake. Early takedown and the fall to boot, and he's pumping up the crowd, saying, this is my job. This is what Dorian Crosby's day job is, an elementary school teacher, but by night, he takes guys down like it's nobody's business. Dorian Crosby still undefeated on the year, ranked number 1 by the open mat in all of Division II, and he and the Golden Knights are undefeated in in conference action as they get ready to face UPJ on February 4th. Men's wrestling, as we end our top 5 plays, men's wrestling has tied a program record for wins in a season, by the way, when they defeated Seton Hill last night. With their record of 11 wins on the season, if they beat UPJ in their final dual meet of the season, they'll set a program record for wins in a year. And a reminder, and we'll get into this next week, the match against UPJ on Valentine's Day, February 14th, is for the conference championship. Both teams are undefeated in conference action. Between 2 top 10 teams and 2 teams that are looking to make noise at nationals. You want to be there. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere and a great environment, and we can't wait to be there next week when men's wrestling hosts UPJ inside the Highmark Event Center. But that's then. This is now. This weekend, still lots of excitement to get to. Women's wrestling senior night tomorrow. The festivities kick off at 6:45. The duel at 7 against Bethany. Then on Saturday, it is our Make-A-Wish game. Stay tuned. Lots of excitement to come. Special announcement at halftime of the women's game, and 2 huge games for Cleve Wright and Easton Bizzoli's squad as the men look to avenge their lone conference loss of the season at home Saturday at 3 p.m. Our next show is right back here next week. We don't take any breaks here on the United Podcast, back here on the 12th of February, right before Valentine's Day. So make sure to get your flowers, your chocolate, your teddy bears, whatever you fancy, and join us a couple days before the holiday here at the John Russell Brewing Company off of Peachtree. Great show tonight. Thanks to Acrobatics and Tumbling for joining us, as well as Carrie McKay for talking Make-A-Wish. A great show planned next week as well. We will see you all back 1 week from tonight. Same time, same place. Until then, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your evening, a great weekend, and we'll see you out at the Highmark Event Center Saturday. Great weekend events. Take care, everybody, and have yourself a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.